I'm Stephen. I'm responsible for your tax program. I'd just like to give you a little bit of insight into tax for the year. I know everybody thinks that tax is probably one of the easiest subjects to pass. Nothing could be further from the truth. Over my many years of experience in actually running tax courses, teaching UNISA students, I would actually imagine that tax is the second hardest course to pass. There's a simple reason for that. If you actually don't put work into tax, you can't pass it. It's one of those courses that you have to put work in, otherwise you can't pass. You can't suck something out of your thumb or have auditing experience and actually sucking something, putting something down on a piece of paper. You don't do the work for tax, you don't pass tax. So it is one of the ones with the higher failure rates through UNISA itself. As far as the tax course by age is concerned, what you'll find happening is that summary sets of notes are actually done for each and every single topic itself. I've had many students in the past that haven't bothered to buy the textbooks because they think the notes are sufficiently good. At the end of the day, it's a personal preference. I always suggest that people actually have a look at my notes. And in these times when you actually don't have huge amounts of cash available, if you're not going to use a textbook, then don't buy it. You have to actually buy the psycho-legislation handbooks. Essentially, what's going to happen with the psycho-legislation handbook is that you're going to actually need to take it into your exam with you. I give all of these legislation sheets to show you how to tag your books properly for each and every single section so that you know how to find everything within the actual act itself. And that's a huge help during an exam, especially when you're doing discussion type questions itself. And then from other textbooks itself, there's normally a couple of question books that I think are very, very useful for you to have. Often I'll give you some extra solutions out of those books itself. I'll go through them in the actual lectures itself as to what question books you might actually want to get. And then also the actual, if you want to get Silk, the textbook itself. Again, what I just want to actually just say to you guys is that I think it's a fantastic, fantastic textbook. But are you going to use it or not? I do summary notes for everything. Some people just like to actually use the summary notes themselves. Know what you're going to do. Being a part-time student, if you're not going to have time to actually go through a textbook properly, just consider and carefully consider what it is that you're actually going to be doing itself. Okay, so as I said, notes for every single section, the questions for every single section itself. I traditionally will go through all of the UNISA type questions in some form or another. I'll choose the best ones to do. I'll try to go through a whole lot of old class test questions, old exam questions to make sure that you're prepared to actually write your class test. In addition to that, there will be some exams that will be set for each and every single test. I normally set these questions all by myself so that you wouldn't have seen them before, because for students that are going to try a question, if you've seen it before, it's not a true reflection of whether you know how to do something or not. As far as revision is concerned, there's a full revision program once we've finished each of the course, all of the course material itself. I've got large individual case studies that you actually go through that are specifically written for revision purposes themselves. I set all sorts of questions based on new developments. One of those things about tax is anything that's a new development, it won't be in an old UNISA question itself. So what's basically going to happen with the question is you need to have a separate new developments type pack as well for taxation itself. I've got lots and lots of experience taking tax. The best performance I've ever had was when UNISA used to actually publish the top students for each subject. I once taught 9 out of the top 10 UNISA tax students in the country. I'm deeply passionate about trying to actually get you to pass tax. I really, really am. You'll see that from all of the material that I prepare for you, from the Zoom sessions that I get to actually try to help you to pass. I'd like to wish you luck in your studies for taxation, and maybe try the trial before you buy classroom, just to see how I actually present tax across to you guys. Thank you.